lot of people ask me, what is the fastest way to get my divorce done in California? I'm ready to give you the shortcuts. As a divorce lawyer for the last 20 years and now CEO and founder at Hello Divorce, a platform that helps thousands of people each year get divorced, we've learned a lot about how to get your divorce done right and quickly. I'm going to provide a step-by-step instruction for how to get it done. Number one, determine if you can file jointly with your spouse. Currently, there's only one way of doing that. It's called summary dissolution, although that will change in 2026, so keep an eye out. See if you qualify for summary dissolution. You have to start with a full agreement. You have to have limited assets and debts, no spousal support orders, no kids. But summary dissolution, if you qualify, is fast because there's far less requirements and you can complete the paperwork pretty quickly. Unfortunately, you still have that 6-month California waiting period. You don't qualify for summary dissolution or you don't yet have an agreement with your spouse, don't worry. The first step is to have one of you file a petition for dissolution of marriage. You want to file this and serve it as quickly as possible so that the waiting period begins. Even if you don't have an agreement yet, that's okay. The petition is designed to simply let the court know that you want a divorce and you want to preserve your rights. So you can do that all in your initial document. A couple of pro tips. The first one is that some counties have a local form that you also need to file, or the clerks will reject your divorce petition without it. There's also a fee waiver if paying the exorbitant $450-ish filing fee is too much, so look for that. With the petition, there's a couple other documents. There's a summons and a UCCJEA form, which tells the courts where your kids have lived the last 5 years and has a couple other details about them. The summons also puts some orders in place for you guys, like until the divorce is final, without an agreement. You have to ensure that you keep each other on health insurance plans and you don't sell property, basically whatever it takes to spend money in a way that's necessary and ordinary. But anything more than that, you'll need an agreement with your spouse. The next step is to ensure that this divorce petition is properly served. The waiting period doesn't begin until that's done. You don't have to have a random process server come to your spouse's place of work or home. You can have somebody over the age of 18 who's unrelated to the case hand your spouse the paperwork, or you can mail, I know that sounds crazy, the documents to your spouse, plus have your spouse sign what's called a notice and acknowledgement of receipt. This is a notice saying that they received the divorce petition and they will submit jurisdiction to the court. The court will have the ability to grant the divorce. Then you have to file a proof of service with that notice and acknowledgement of receipt, if that's the way you did service. And if you want to move things along even faster, that is a good time to file your step 2 documents. What's step 2? Step 2 are your financial disclosures. This is where you're going to disclose your finances, your assets, your debts, your income, your expenses. All of that has to go on the table, even if you already have an agreement. So get it done. The third and final step is the divorce agreement. There are lots of documents that you need to include in them, what your agreement is on all issues: property, debt, assets, child support, child custody, spousal support. All of that has to make it into the agreement. And then you want to ensure that that agreement is really complete, like at the risk of overkill. Lots of judges like to reject divorce paperwork and send it back to you to do more work. Either you don't have one of the forms that are required, box hasn't been checked, or the divorce agreement isn't complete. So another pro tip is if the agreement on its face looks lopsided, there might be a million reasons why you've decided to do the agreement as is. But if it looks lopsided, you're going to want to explain it. So as an example, 20-year marriage, one spouse isn't receiving spousal support and that spouse makes far less money than the other spouse, you're going to want to explain it in the agreement. You'll want to say something like, Respondent isn't seeking spousal support because respondent is self-supporting. Respondent recently received millions in an inheritance or whatever it might be. And just be really clear about why that party doesn't need spousal support. So in general, how do you know if an agreement isn't fair? You look to what the default California laws are. So you can agree to anything you want over and above the laws, but start with the laws. The law says community property is divided 50-50. So everything acquired during the marriage with limited exception is marital property to be divided. So if, for example, you are dividing property in a way that's different than 50-50, that would be considered lopsided or needing some further explanation. So don't be shy about that. Once you get your entire packet together, you are going to take the original and make 2 copies. If you are self-represented, you both will want your signatures notarized. You will take that to court to have it filed. The clerks will review it, and if you have all your forms, they will send it to the judge to sign off on it. Understand that if it's before that 6-month period has lapsed, you still might get your judgment for divorce back, nice and neat and stamped, but make sure you look at the actual date of divorce because that will never be earlier than 6 months from the date that the divorce petition was filed. We've got this down to a science at Hello Divorce. And one of the things I love that we do is we have the 3-step process. In that first step, we get your petition filed, regardless of whether you have an agreement or not, so that we can start that waiting period and then work towards the financial disclosures and the final agreement. If this is something that you want help with, feel free to go to hellodivorce.com and check us out or schedule a free call to discuss your options. Really hope to see you on the Hello Divorce platform if divorce is in the cards. And let me know in the comments if there's another video you'd like me to do about California divorce, divorce in general, or divorce in other states.